remotes or our Netflix remotes. We're going to do it at the same time on the count of 3.
You're ready to start it on Remarcus too?
I'm almost ready to start it on the Remarcus.
I was about to ask.
This episode is called Lost and Found. Are we ready?
Ooh, what an episode. Born ready.
On the count of 3.
This is Lost and Found?
This is Lost and Found, Season 2, Episode 15.
Which one am I on right now? Okay. Never mind. Thank you.
No problem. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Is the cat distracting?
Say again?
Is the cat on the shirt distracting? Because the dog's always
very. It's not nearly as distracting as that dog yesterday.
Now that you mentioned it.
I'm going to try and get Brenda to join us one day. Brenda Maven, who was she was the head of, or one of the heads of costumes, and asked her. She worked with Valerie. She was above Valerie, and sounds like Valerie said that she chatted with Brenda about this, and that Brenda was down. So I want to ask Brenda about some of those shirts.
Brenda is a talker, so I think she would love this. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
I love Brenda.
They could come on with her, and she could do her little ukulele song.
I saw that she's right now following the Bag Boy group.
Was that just a reference to Caesar? We still haven't seen Caesar?
It was a different Caesar.
That skinny guy back there, supposedly Caesar.
Supposedly. Oh my God.
I only know one Caesar.
Everyone who works there is named Caesar.
The thought that he just only hires Caesar.
Or he's just too lazy to learn names, so he just calls them all Caesar.
Am I the only one that thinks it's kind of surprising that she never got a tattoo?
I used to have one of those little TVs.
We did too. We would watch baseball games on them.
How is Luke already closed? If they're going to go watch a movie, it must be like dinner time.
Could be like 8 or something. If it's a diner and he mostly had morning business.
Yeah, gotta love small town hours.
In some cities, that would be actually illegal, right?
Probably.
Wait, what?
It would be against code to be living
Yeah,
in
zoning
a
violation.
yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Small town magic, I guess. There's the red whip.
Blue lid, extra creamy, yummy.
I'm trying to think I've ever done that before.
Done what exactly?
I'm waiting for the stand. Just when you walk and talk with somebody and then you want to sort of get their attention, that you just stop, forcing them to stop and turn around to look at you. Does that really happen?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Friend adjacent.
I'm sorry, say again?
Friend adjacent.
Yeah.
I love Miss Patty in the golf cart, teaching people to walk.
Jess has a lot of clothes.
There's a ton of books, there's a ton of everything there.
Like, did he bring all of that stuff with him?
Yeah, I was gonna
Mom
say
sent it.
his mom shipped it. He said that Liz shipped the rest of the stuff this week.
I was like,
Also,
yeah,
Liz shipped
There's a
Jess.
ton of stuff.
Oh yeah, most of it's probably books.
It's just funny, like Stars Hollow is really just walking around that high school. That's the band's house. That's our apartment. If you remember episode that he's standing in front of the driveway where the sub bus was. That's where the sub bus was parked.
I can't believe they showed it so often, and it didn't really dawn until they lived there.
Yep. I mean, it's just. I mean, there's not much. They have to just reuse it all. You know, there's not a lot of streets.
For
And,
it. Rory's so trendy with that middle part. She couldn't be any more obvious.
I've always had a middle part all my life. Was it not trendy at one point?
It's very in style right now, apparently. But I am all for the side part.
It was back then too. I'm the same age Rory, or I was the same age Rory was. It was popular back then too.
Good places on Peach, the street Dean lives on. Yeah, you want them to live on the same street, Lorelai.
Are they intentionally holding their hands over the label of the can of soda?
It seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah, definitely. We were actually told to do that sometimes. Like, you know, if they didn't clear that, we would have to turn it, make sure that it wasn't.
Hey, John, the reason for my gift is coming up. There it is.
Oh, so smug.
Oh, it's
Yep.
cute. Don't you just want to slap that smirk off his face?
Why do you find that cute? It was so manipulative.
I don't like
And
him
here I
at
go
all.
again, shutting
I
my
agree
mouth on
with
the
you,
subject.
Uh,
This is not a good hair look for her today.
She lost it. Correct?
And I'll never understand why
Correct.
to him it was such a big deal. Sometimes you don't wear a bracelet.
I know, but she lost it, right? Correct.
Yes, that's
Yes,
during the
but
yes,
she doesn't want to admit it.
But she's just now realizing it.
yeah,
That's what I'm getting from
Yes.
yeah.
And she's lying
And
about losing it.
And I have a point to all this after all this. Hopefully, I won't get yelled at for it.
I love Jim.
I love that they tied in Rory's bracelet and the rain gutters into this episode, because that was the whole point of Lorelai's basket, was getting somebody to be able to clean her rain gutters.
Megan, you're very, very low.
Yeah, your audio is the microphone on your phone maybe covered?
This is a nice scene, or scenes, I guess.
I thought those scenes were really sweet. John, did you see Jess's face?
Yes.
That he's gonna be mad comment really just like, ugh.
I know, just tell him.
Also, he shouldn't be mad over her accidentally losing something.
Yeah, but
But this is Dean
will
we're
he be
talking
will
about.
he be mad though? I mean, that's what she's saying.
He would.
He was mad
Skip
and
that
when
book
he
without
noticed
him
that we
being
mad.
gone. This is Dean we're talking about. He's clingy and he gets mad over the stupid thing.
I'm still mad about that Gretzky reference.
Oh, why? Wayne Gretzky was awesome.
Yeah, where have you been?
No, Lorelai says nice save, Gretzky, but Wayne Gretzky was never like a goalie. I don't think. Maybe he might have been like during his younger years, but like when he made it to the big leagues, I don't think he ever played as a goalie. So that's why I'm mad. Sorry.
No, he did not. That is correct.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a huge hockey fan, so it bothered me.
That's awesome.
I love me a good reference to the Miami Sound Machine. I'm not gonna lie.
This is my favorite scene. His face. Oh my gosh.
He played for the Yankee minor league team.
Yeah, I know. That's what I found fun about that reference.
His current apartment is on the second floor. What does he mean? He likes being on the bottom.
I thought that it was on the second floor too, but the scene earlier, she seemed to like just go in, just walk through a back door, and then suddenly the door to
No,
his
she went
apartment.
upstairs.
She went
upstairs.
upstairs.
Yeah, she went
Stairs
upstairs.
right there.
There's always been stairs like behind that curtain.
Okay.
That is true.
She can talk him into anything.
Of course, we all know that he put the bracelet back for her.
How do you know that?
Man, come on.
He has a
Context. But here's my thing. Actually, no, I'll have my bit later.
Not yet.
Just seems like the nice thing to do, and you know, we gotta start to like this guy.
John, look at this.
Finally.
So funny.
Oh my gosh, Taylor.
I see the smoke from his ears.
My favorite part.
Those garbage bags are way too full for stuff from the gutter.
Good intentions, not the greatest way to go about it.
Why not the best way to go about it?
I mean, like Jess, he like stole the bracelet, but he gave it back, and he's like trying to figure out about Dean and his intentions and all that.
I have a different theory on that.
I'm glad he did that. That's the first nice thing that I've seen him do.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'll talk about it later.
Tell Dane that she can stop praying. That's great.
It's so uncomfortable.
Boom.
See? Yep, she dropped it at the basket.
I wouldn't have known. I drop things all the time.
I'm notorious for losing jewelry. That's why I don't wear it.
Same.
Same.
I lost a ring on my wedding day, and I could not believe it because it took me 2 weeks to realize I lost it on my wedding.
I lost my sister's wedding ring the day of the wedding and had to have 4 people help me look for it.
Oh no, Jess, you did not.
We're missing things.
If he says that that building cost $100,000, I'm gonna die.
Why?
Because that's so cheap for that building.
Less than my house.
Less than my house too.
That's less than like any house.
Can't imagine there's any house that is that. Oh no.
He has a lot of cash.
Well, he hasn't moved, and he's, lived in the same place.
And it's all the
Business forever.
building where the diner is.
And he's responsible too, so I mean,
Good for him, honestly.
yeah.
Does it look like there's no glass in that cabinet?
It's been bothering me for quite a while now, and I didn't want to say anything about it.
It's
But
probably
just
a
like,
lighting
there's
glare
there.
thing.
The funniest part of the entire episode. Here we go.
He said this was his favorite part. Isn't that where the bathroom used to be?
It was great.
Yeah, sometimes it's on the other side of the room, yeah.
That was great.
I told you.
That's a highly rated episode for me.
John, now do you understand why I said it was hard for me to pick a gift that didn't give the entire episode away?
I guess.
Okay, in terms of like Jess and Rory, and someone made a comment about like doing this gift as like doing that last scene as a gift. I was like, that would give that like a good chunk of the episode away.
Well, I
like,
don't really know what gifts are available.
This one was very hard because like there wasn't the beginning of the episode. There's just very seldom, because like some of the gifts between Jess and Rory would have given what the episode was about, and yeah.
Well, I don't ever. Oh, sorry about that. I don't ever read the gifts that you post because I feel like if I read the gifts, then that'll definitely give it away. I just look at what the picture is, and the weirder the picture is, like the more odd it is, the more I'm like, and then I kind of challenge myself to try and figure it out as soon as possible in the episode itself.
Did you understand, like, obviously at one point what my gift was about?
Well, to me, your gift was just a picture of Jess because I didn't read it. It was just literally a picture of Jess just staring forward.
Okay, so that gift that I posted, the what's it called? The closed captioning underneath it says, "What makes you think I care about you?" And that was right in the middle of Rory's rant of how he needs to like start talking to her mom and be nice to her, stuff like that. So
Yeah. This episode was the first episode where I liked Jess. I mean,
yay!
you do not have me on Team Jess yet. Let's be clear.
Just wait.
What was it, Dawn? What
Just one redeeming thing.
Yeah,
I know
he
what it was.
to put it back that he stole and kept for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he had it from. He didn't steal it. He found it laying on the ground.
He
found
found
it
it
on the
ground.
ground. But he didn't give it back to her. He knew it was hers.
So that's not called stealing.
Well,
It's
he
sort of.
found it on the ground.
Stealing adjacent.
He could have given it to
Whatever.
stealing adjacent. You know.
I do
It's
wish
like
we would have
finding
known
someone
what he was going to do with that.
It's like finding $5 on the sidewalk and keeping it and not giving it back. That's not called
No,
stealing.
no. $5 fall out.
I mean, if you just
It's fine. Whoa, one at a time.
it's fine.
let's try not to talk over each other too much.
Well, he knew it was hers, so it's not like finding $5 on the sidewalk because he could have returned it to her immediately.
Well, yeah, but it has an implication though.
I've always seen it as this is how he's testing to see if Rory liked him as well, to see how long it'll take her to figure out that the bracelet is gone. I don't think he ever intended to keep it. He was just testing to see how long it would take.
Did he know that it was from Dean when he found it?
I don't know if he knew it was from Dean, but he definitely knew it was hers.
He knew it was important.
I wonder if he just was like keeping it as like, you know, to think about her, and I don't think he was doing it maliciously. Like that's why I was wondering if he knew if it was Dean.
The night of their phone call, he was holding it in his hand and like rubbing it while he talked to her. So I guess he was.
Yeah, I was thinking that he kept it as a way to like kind of have an excuse to like see her again, you know, like and find a way to like sneak into it and like give back to her somehow, you know. That's how I was thinking about it.
I just don't think he thought. Yeah, I just don't think he thought that it was going to be this soon. Like I kind of like understand your point, Regina, and like I have my own point, obviously. But I kind of think what like Jessica was saying, where like I don't know if his intention was to do what he did in the beginning, but it just kind of went off that way, like continued that way when Rory called him, and he was surprised, obviously, by his face at the end of A Kiss to the Casket. And then like his whole thing about like, if it's the most precious thing she owns, why did it take her 2 weeks to realize it was gone? Like normally people, like I look at my wrist every single day. If I don't have a hair tie on, I notice. And a bracelet that's on your wrist every single day, like how do you not know what's on?
Oh, it's easy to realize that.
Exactly.
I was wearing a ring. No, I was wearing a ring for 3 years. It fell off my hand. I had no idea that I lost it. It had to have been gone for at least a week. So it's
exactly
to lose something and not realize it. He knew that the bracelet was hers. He may not have known that Dean gave it to her, but he knew it was hers, and I think he kept it because he wanted to have something that was hers.
Anybody else get upset with how pushy Dean was about it in the first place? Like maybe she just didn't want to wear it that day. Yeah. I was like, "Where's your bracelet? Why aren't you wearing your bracelet?" Like,
oh, and the way that he was talking to her while she was looking through the books.
Why
did you not see his face?
What but even if she did lose it, like, I mean, she's human. Like, she lost it. Like,
I've lost
I mean,
it before.
Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like,
Well,
she could have just lost
kind of
it that
area,
morning
so.
for all he knew.
yeah, she didn't want him to be mad at her, and you know, we can still see their relationship where he's super clingy. She can't even look at books because she's worried about him and tending to him. And then the bracelet comes up, and she's scared to tell him. And even Lorelai's like, "Oh yeah, let's not go there. Let's not tell him." Where it's like, if he wants to read more into it, which he has a right to because he's right, but at this point, you know, it's just, yeah, Dean's reaction is unacceptable.
Could you imagine if he found out that it was gone for 2 weeks? 'Cause I don't think he ever finds that out.
Hey, John, so tell us, what made you start liking Jess, and how did you feel about Dean?
I know.
Well, first of all, I don't necessarily think that he knew that that bracelet was given to her by Dean. I didn't immediately assume that he understood that. I think he was holding on to the bracelet, just because I don't really think it was necessarily good that he didn't just say, hey, you dropped this and give it to her. He should have done that, but it's sort of just a Jess thing for him to just sort of hold on to something and see sort of if this is important to her. If it is, then she'll ask for it back. I think that once he realized that it was a really big deal, he wanted to make it right. And I think that was cool. And then, just from a writing perspective, they pitted everybody, or they pitted Lorelai against him, by sort of unfairly accusing him of doing something that he didn't do. He didn't steal the bracelet. And so just from a writing perspective, they've given him a bad guy, for somebody for you to immediately want to defend him against that person. And so just naturally, I just felt like I wanted to defend him in that moment, and that made me like him more.
Thanks, Tom.
And what about Dean? How did you feel about Dean's reaction to things and wanting to go watch The Lord of the Rings again instead of letting Rory look at books more?
Well, I didn't think that. I heard some people react to the Lord of the Rings thing. I didn't think that was a big deal. He's asking his girlfriend if she wants to go to the movies and and see Lord of the Rings, and he's picking a movie that he thinks that she likes and whatnot. I think that moment is more indicative of the fact that she's not all that excited about doing things with him anymore, or as excited as she used to be about doing things with him. And I think he can feel that. And because he can feel that, he's probably a little more on edge, which is why he probably then in the next, a few moments later, notices that she doesn't have the bracelet on. And he, as somebody who's, insecure about whether or not this person is growing apart from them, might do, he, jumped to conclusions and got upset. It's not enough for me to say this guy is so annoying. This guy is so, I see it for what it is. The guy, he can feel his girlfriend is drifting away from him, and that is scary for him. And people act weird when they're scared.
True. Tasha?
Thank you. Couple comments on the whole Jess thing, and then the whole Dean situation. I'll start with Dean because it came first, kind of. So I feel like kind of what you were saying, John, where he feels insecure and he feels his girlfriend slipping away. I've always been told that if someone is, and this comment will, funny enough, roll around again. If someone wants to bolt or leave, just let them. And there's a great quote that I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember. If you love someone and they really love you, let them go and they'll come back, or something like that. And it's perfectly true. And you can see it, obviously, that Rory's drifting from Dean, and Dean doesn't like it, and he's becoming very insecure, and he's going to try anything that he can to keep her, which honestly goes back to the whole smothering, being needy type thing. And no one likes it on either side, whether it's a girlfriend being clingy and needy, or whether it's a boyfriend or whatever. No one likes that. And I think Rory can kind of see that, and Dean doesn't understand that, weirdly enough. And usually it's the other way around. And so I feel like Dean, noticing the bracelet's gone, kind of freaked out a little too much. and Rory thinking on the fly, very great of her. I don't know how he believes that, because I wouldn't. And thinking like that was very great of her. And then the whole Jess thing, like I said before, Lorelai, like what she said was highly uncalled for, because he actually didn't take it. He didn't steal it. He had it the whole time, yes, but he did not steal it. He just had it, and I feel like he didn't know that Dean gave it to her, but I had a feeling that he knew it was of some importance to her. And then once Rory came in like all flustered and crazy and like freaking out and everything, he realized like how much it is important to her, and like how he is thinking of Rory and doesn't want to possibly jeopardize like their friendship or whatever, and puts it back. And then
Right. It wasn't like he has been like holding on to it and she's been fretting about it and like looking for it for all those weeks. Like
took her 2 weeks.
Right.
Figure out it was gone.
She just started looking for it, and then he's like, oh crap, and like put it in her room. So it, he would be a jerk if he was just holding on to it, knowing that it was from Dean. And then if she was like talking about it and made it known that she was looking for it, and he's like, I'm not going to give it to her, I'm going to keep it.
And he had a feeling of like, and went, sorry, Jess, but that's okay. And then he was like, I wouldn't start calling him son yet if like saying that like she may not be madly in love as Lorelai says she is.
Okay, I think we're dumping on Dean a little bit, I think, unfairly, because people are talking about how he was whiny at the bookstore, big book thing, but he made a point of saying like, you keep shopping, I'm sitting here, you keep shopping, and it was 2 hours after he had been finished shopping. So yeah, he was bored and sitting 2 hours, but he wasn't rushing her. He wasn't guilting her. He was telling her to keep going.
I agree.
And then on top of that, like the bracelet thing, I think we have to remember who Rory is, in the sense of she wore that bracelet every single day since he gave it to her, and only took it off when they were broken up. And it was one of the first things to come back on her hand when they got back together. So it's like, for him to be surprised that she's not wearing it, I think is natural, because she showed him that it was important to her by wearing it constantly. So he's remarking on a change, and he's wondering what's happening. And
I don't think he's remarking on the bracelet. I think that was a remark on them, on the relationship.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, for me, like, if it's something that I wear every single day, like I wear my wedding band every single day, all of a sudden I don't wear it. It's natural that my husband will go, where is it? What's going on? Are you mad at me? Is this a way for you to say something about our current state of affairs? Like, I don't think it's unreasonable that he reacted. The fact that she hadn't noticed, I think, says a lot.
That's my whole point.
But I don't think his reaction is really unfair or unrealistic. The Jess thing drives me insane. I'm sorry. That drives me insane because whether he knew it was from Dean or if he didn't, he's holding on to something that he knows belongs to Rory. And at one point, she's going to notice whatever it is that he has is gone. And he has no plan on how to fix it. So he sneaks into her bedroom and puts it under the bed. Like, at the very least, like, tell her I had it. Like, or not I had it, or I found it on the whatever, the bridge, and didn't realize it was yours. Or like acknowledge it. This whole idea that she found it under the bed after she was looking for days, that just, I think that's the coward's way out, and it actually makes me like him less.
I'm with you, Mary. I think that he should have said, I found this on the pier. I didn't realize it was yours. Is this what you're looking for? And I think that would have given more of a like, because I can't stand, at this point, I can't stand Jess. I think he knew it was hers. he was keeping it, and when he realized how much trouble she was getting into, that's the only reason why he gave it back.
Do you think that they would believe him, Sherry, if he had told that story? Do you think that they would have believed him, or maybe he might think that they wouldn't believe him because he'd already caused so many problems?
Lorelai wouldn't have believed him anyway.
I think if she would have said that, this was here, I didn't realize that this is what you're looking for. I found this. I didn't realize it was yours. And I think they may have believed it.
I don't think they would.
Lorelai wouldn't have.
I don't think they would have believed it. I think that he like, I don't excuse him at all for taking that thing and not giving it to her. Like, there's no question. It's not defensible at all. It's just, it was wrong. It's one of the things that I actually think makes him just seem more like a jerk. It's why I haven't really liked him. So I don't defend that, but it already happened. So I have to sort of like look at what new things, what has he done new to help sort of change my perception of that, which already happened episodes ago. And I think I am of the feeling that, like, if he, first of all, I just don't see that character ever being able to do what we'd like him to do, right? Like, this idea of like, hey, so I actually took this from you the other day. I've been holding on to it because I'm a jerk, but now I see that you really, this means something to you, and I understand what it is. Here it is. I just can't in a million years ever see the character doing that, right? So I have to sort of
trying to change someone.
Yeah. So I then think, like, what's the best he can do? Like, what, given these circumstances, given that he probably would be accused by Lorelai of like having taken it or whatnot, and probably wouldn't be completely, they wouldn't really believe him. Like, and to me, the only way that I could imagine that character doing it would be exactly as he did. Leave it somewhere for her to find it, just walk away, like, tell her that she, give her some sort of clue to look again, and just let it all, like, as if it didn't, like, it never happened, and I can respect him for that, because ultimately what he's trying to do is the right thing, which is give back the thing that really means a lot to her, that has something to do with a guy that he doesn't even really like, so he has every reason to like mess with that even more if he wanted to, and he doesn't. And for me, I think that that's enough to like get me to like the character a bit more than I did before.
Regina's been flashing way longer than I have.
Thanks. I'll make my point really quick, and then you can go ahead, Tasha. But while I do agree with like Mary and Sherry that the respectable thing is to say like, hey, wait, hold on, I have a poor connection notification. Okay, it went away. Sorry if I cut out.
You're
good.
I did.
But while I agree that it is the respectable thing to do, and I think it would have been nice and show to Jess to be this great character instead of this like hoodlum character as Taylor Dozy has labeled him as. I also do ascribe to the idea that like they wouldn't have believed him anyways. And I'm thinking about the scene with the toaster again, and how he didn't even outrightly admit to Luke, of all people, that he was the one who fixed the toaster. And so I feel like with that scene in mind, and seeing Jess like go up to Rory and say like, hey, and own up to what he did, and that he did find the bracelet and he had it for a while, I think it'd be a radical change in character, and I feel like it'd be weird. So while I do understand where people are coming from, I also see like why he did it the way he did, in a sense. And so that was my point.
Oh yeah, and like to kind of piggyback off of that, and like I'll defend Jess for a lot of things, not for everything, because Lord knows he's done some like effed up things, and we'll see that later on in the series. But I kind of feel like, one, like people have said before, Lorelai wouldn't have believed him regardless of what story he would have told her, regardless of what story would have been true. If he would have like giving it back to her while they were sitting on the porch, or whether, like, whatever, like, she wouldn't have believed him because she said that, like, I don't like him, just because you do doesn't mean I have to, blah, blah, blah. And I think kind of also like what Regina was saying, how like it would have been a character change for him. There's a reason that Jess is Jess and Dean is Dean. Dean is the golden boy. Dean is the guy that doesn't do anything wrong and like changes a water bottle and like goes to their grandparents and like and things like that. He's the good guy. Jess is the guy that's the rebel who doesn't like to do what he's told and does his own thing. And I feel like that would have been a definite character change. And Jess wants to do what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And I think that kind of what John was saying, like for him to do it the way he did was just the way that he thought was best, because to give it back to her right after it happened or in the beginning of the episode would have not been the Jess that we know. And it would have, like someone said, it would have been weird. Like, I don't like the fact that Rory was running around like a chicken with her head cut off. That wasn't cool. But how else was he supposed to do it in a way that was still being him? Because I don't think he wants to shy away from being himself, because that's what is attracting Rory, is being the way that he is, because he doesn't want to be Dean, because obviously that's not working. So he's only going to be himself, and I love that he doesn't want to change for anybody at the moment.
It's like I'll take what I can get from him. Right?
Exactly.
And that's the best I can get from him. I know that's the best I can get from him because that's who he is. He's not, but that is what he's done there is good thing. In
his own way.
In his own way, and while, and this is the reason why I can't say I'm a Team Jess character, because like his own way is not really my way, and it's not really, it's not really the way of characters that I like. But I can understand that in his way, it was the right thing to do, and he was being unfairly accused by somebody. Something that he didn't do, and just all of that stuff together put me on his side for this episode, I guess is the best way to say it. Or put me on his side later in the episode. I mean, early in the episode, like, especially that whole moment where he was like, where she was asking him to like her mom, to be respectful to his mom, and he's like,
that smirk was so cute, because he knew that, like,
come on, that was horrible. Okay. Like he's basically saying, like, I don't need to like your mom. I don't need to be cool to your mom. It's like,
okay, what? Not that part. It's the smile afterwards, and that was
that smile afterwards also felt kind of like it felt smug, and it felt like
manipulative.
Manipulative.
I don't think it's manipulative. I feel like that's like her like getting all like flustered and trying to find her words, where she was like, not like, but if you can see me as a person you can occasionally stand to talk to type thing. He knew that she was getting tripped up on her words, and this part will come back up very shortly.
That makes
she was
smug,
smarmy.
John.
I'm not done.
Just so you guys know, Wendy at the bottom's been flashing for a while.
Okay, I'll make my point.
Yeah,
now.
it was
like
just
for 10 minutes.
Mention of that.
Okay, I'll make my point and then I'll shut up.
Wendy,
like,
got you, girl. Don't worry.
Okay. She was squirming, and that phrase is going to come up again. I won't tell you when, but that, like, she was squirming, and he could see it, and he knows that, like, something's going on, and he smiled, a little bit smug, yes, but he knew that something's working that he's doing. All right, whoever was flashing can go.
Wendy was flashing, and then Lily.
No, I guess mine's really not that deep, except to say that I didn't see it as anything apart from a connection. I enjoyed talking to her on the bridge. I want there to be more of this. So, here's something I can take and keep this thing going until, and if she doesn't talk to me anymore, I can bring her back into the situation by, somehow letting her know that she has, I have a bracelet or whatever. But then things continued, and then he saw how upset she was, and, but I didn't see it quite so deep.
Lily? Okay. So I don't know. I have this other
I can hardly hear you.
Yeah,
Oh.
your audio's pretty low.
Is it? Is that better?
Yeah,
that's better. I just didn't have my mic up. So basically, one of my favorite like scenes in that episode is when Jess is like up on the roof and Lorelai's asking him if he wants to come in for lunch. And then when he comes in for lunch and they start talking, because Jess doesn't really trust anybody. In a way, I sort of compare him to Paris in that aspect, because, you know, he doesn't really have a lot of family. He has Luke, you know, that's similar to Paris, and I can't really say a lot, I guess. But I really love that scene between him and Lorelai, because you see him starting to open up with her, because he really cares about Rory, and he's like, okay, I'm going to give this a chance because I trust your opinion and I trust that your judgment of me, so I'm going to try this thing. And also the whole braces thing, like I was saying, like bad and like, you know, good intentions, like but bad actions sort of thing. Like I meant like basically him taking it wasn't really the best thing. I mean, but his good intentions were, you know, him giving it back and also trying to, in a way, show her that, look, you don't really care about Dean as much as you keep saying you care about Dean, and you're so terrified of what he's gonna like say to you over like a bracelet. Think about it, sort of thing. I think we've seen it a couple of times from him, where he's like, your boyfriend is like being not nice to you, like, hello, figure it out. But I don't think he should have taken the bracelet. I think he should have went, hey, you left this here. And that would have been such a bigger impact with their relationship than him keeping it and calling her like a couple weeks later, say, hey, I found your bracelet.
Sabrina, were you flashing earlier or were you clapping? Maybe you weren't doing either. I thought I saw Sabrina earlier.
No, I was doing neither. I'm just listening.
Oh.
We can clap.
Yeah, just flash your mic.
Yeah,
but that's
you flash your
Sorry.
no. So
Well, then
the way it works is that if you want to signal that you're raising your hand, you want to flash it at a slower pace, like this.
Not like me though, because I kind of go
I
mad.
was clapping for like 10 minutes.
Oh dear God!
If you want to clap, do it really fast, like Tasha. Like Tasha.
Okay.
Tasha often does clapping, but we know her well enough to know that that's actually
She's gonna break her
Tasha.
finger off.
Exactly.
Well, my train derailed a lot, so at least my train of thought a lot. That's why.
But usually the way it is it's a slow one to raise your hand, and it's fast if you want to say that you're clapping.
Okay.
Unless you're Tasha.
I learn something new every day.
Me too. And I have a lot of health issues and I have a memory problem. So I don't mean to interrupt people. It's just if I don't get it out, I will forget what I was saying.
How dare you, Sherry?
Interrupting is.
I have it too.
Interrupting happens, and I don't think that it's a horrible thing. It's just sometimes it'll cause a little cacophony, and everybody is like, and then we have to like settle it down. So I would just say earlier, try to remember to do that. If you're like wanting to respond to somebody and they just finished their sentence and you feel like you can get it in there, by all means do it. Like, I don't think that we need to be like super strict about the hand raising thing. But if it just starts to get really crazy where everyone's suddenly talking, we all have to, I think, realize, it's gotten crazy. Let's stop for a second and then switch to hands.
Very
Yeah,
good.
you want to move on to Luke and Lorelai after we done with this?
I just was gonna say, I was gonna say that I noticed there's also an age difference. So I'm much older than Tasha, so I see things more as the way Lorelai looks at stuff rather than the way Rory looks.
Hey, I'm 28. I'm not that young, thank you.
I'm gonna be 49 in a couple of months. So
I'm
53. It's a big age difference.
I'm
seeing
ancient.
things more through.
See, I don't see
Lorelai's
age
eyes.
difference at all.
But it makes a difference on how we're viewing things, especially
when we were older, when it was the first run through versus now. I mean, sometimes just that is how you view things. Sometimes it's different because you're relating to the characters differently based on your age when you're watching it versus a younger person might relate more with the teenager, or an older person would have related more with the mother and things like that. It's just,
I also think,
exactly.
I also think I should just mention this. I think it's an obvious, but gender also plays a part of it, right? Because I'm like, you know, my perspective on the Team Dean, Team Jess, and I know that there's going to be another team member coming at some point here. That's largely because I'm putting myself I'm putting myself into their shoes, which I have a better experience for doing that.
You can relate to them in that way.
I can relate to them a little bit more, right? Even though, you know, I think that for the most part, like all of these characters are written in a very universal, you know, in a way that like anyone can sort of relate to their feelings. But I think that like one of the things that makes this show so like such a fan favorite, has lasted as long as it does, is that it does age well, right? Because as we age, we have all these different characters that we can start to like see through their eyes a little bit better, right? Once you're a parent, you can start to like see through the eyes of the parent characters, whereas before then you can't really see through their eyes. And, you know, so it's like, the show just continues to provide insight into the human condition at different points of the viewer's life, which is just a very unique thing. Not a lot of shows have that. And then it's got so many different characters, and that just adds to it as well. And then I'll always say it, I really do believe that, you know, one of the biggest factors for the huge fandom is that there's this very, very, very real place that has been created in the series that fans can almost sort of like, they can almost escape to with each of these episodes. So it's not just the characters, it's actually like the locale. But that's a different, that's going off on a different tangent.
That seems like the perfect segue to talk about Luke
and
shopping.
Laura.
Yay.
Yes,
I wanted to say something for
but you know, but just so you know, I'm actually gonna have to get going here in a second because it's gonna be past my my time to hop off here. So I can stick around for another, I'd say 5 minutes or so. If we want to switch topic, we can.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. I guess I'm not going to say anything then.
Yep, go to the Luke.
I mean, we've been talking about Dean and Jess and Jess.
No, that's not what I was
wow.
going to say. I wasn't going to mention that.
Well, what did you want to talk about?
After
Never mind.
Well, I mean, just because
Not
I leave
important.
doesn't mean that the room goes dark.
It's fine.
Mary,
It's not
Mary
important.
had something she wanted to talk about as well, so maybe we should let Mary go for a little bit.
It's not important. No, I'm fine.
Oh no! I just want to switch over to the Luke and Lorelai house shopping and what they ended up doing. And Taylor Dosey ended up owning 10 buildings and driving Luke insane.
Well, if those 10 buildings are each $100,000 a piece, I mean, man.
Mortgages, baby.
I mean,
My favorite is when they were looking in the apartment and the woman assumed that they were married and she's calling him Snuffy. She wants to lick his face. I nearly die every time. That's one of my favorites. And
is it really a good idea to always assume that the couple in front of you are married and like together? Like, I don't know. I think realtors would know better than that.
oh, I mean, before Babsy and I were married, we often like went places and people would often be like, "Your wife," you know, like. I mean, I feel like that's just something that society does, you know.
And he called her to come to a house to think about buying it or leasing it. At least it's a very intense relationship.
Especially like home purchase. That's something that like, you know, that typically married couples do. That's not something that like friends do, I mean, it sometimes happens with
Roommates?
no, I mean, it's just not, it's just like, it's, I don't think so. Like, I mean, sure, I'm sure it happens, but I think it's just so rare that like it would be much more. It's probably realtors are probably today told not to assume that, you know, but how could you not naturally assume it?
The only place it's unnatural is on like house hunters when they have like a random friend show up to help you hunt for a house. It's the only place you should not assume somebody is married.
But how about the fact that of all the people Luke calls Lorelai? Like, that's also pretty telling of their relationship.
Yeah, but who else would he? I mean, they have that relationship where, you know, she was going to help him paint his diner. I think they have that close relationship. He doesn't really have that with anybody else.
But he grew up in that town, so you would think he would.
Yeah, but the only relationship we really see is his rivalry with Bootsy. We don't really see him like having any, and Taylor, but he has like enemies. He doesn't really have, like, besides Lorelai, a good confidant, a good friend.
He's a loner.
Well, like,
Maybe
she
lives
helped
in the
him
same
shop for the
place,
present,
probably.
and she helped him like shop for clothes and stuff. So it kind of seems like it fits, like Richard was saying, with their relationship.
Makes me sad for Luke.
I think he values her opinion above many others, and that's part of the reason why he called her to come help and why he accepts her help in other things. I think that he just values her opinion, and when you value somebody's opinion, you want them to help you out when you're struggling with decisions. And he likes her, obviously, but I think that out of a lot of people, she's the one that he kind of relies on for those kinds of things. Because he thinks that town's crazy at times. He thinks she is too, but that's how I kind of think. He just values her opinion.
But also, isn't Lorelai the one who mentions the apartment hunting to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, she can talk him into doing anything.
Like buying suits. So,
Yeah,
did
so all the
he make the
clothes
right
that
decision?
I mean, when he ended up buying the building at the end, I was like, aha, because I was like trying to think here, like, wait a second, I don't remember like the Luke character having an apartment somewhere in the show. Like, and then I was like thinking, like, man, was I really that clueless about what was going on in the story? And then, of course, like when he bought the building next to it, I was like, oh, okay, got it. I love the ending.
Did you realize honestly add $100,000 to get a cashier's check and go buy a building?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's like, you know, going back that many years. Like, I mean, but I was like mostly just shocked. Like a whole building costs $100,000. Like a big old building.
I would think
Commercial building, that's income property.
I think 20 years ago.
20 years ago, maybe?
Town?
I don't know. In a small town, maybe, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Also, I don't know if it's established in the show that I think like the implication is that like Star Hollow real estate is really cheap, because we see this debate as well with like Lorelai's home. Like, how did she afford to buy the home as a maid, like as working as a maid in an inn? So I think the idea is that Star Hollow real estate in particular is just really, really cheap.
I don't know. I mean, when Babsy and I were in Connecticut last year or year before, and we were like driving around like the little towns there, and that's like Kent, for example, which was where the Fan Fest was it last year or the year before? I can't remember, but that count is really cute, but the real estate was expensive.
Connecticut's known for that, for having really, really expensive real estate. Maybe
New
it wasn't
England in
like that
general.
then, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what, maybe 20 years ago it wasn't, but like, man, we were there and we were like, gosh, should we move to Connecticut? And we like looked at the real estate. We were like, yeah, no. not
My
now.
hometown back home is expensive community to live in, and we're small. Well, for a town.
I thought that there was that moment. Just getting back quickly to the thing with Luke and Lorelai, and then I'm gonna have to jump off. So I can spend a little bit of time here with Babsy before we all go to sleep. But that moment with where Lorelai was talking to him about having another woman live there with him and stuff. That was like, that moment felt to me like he was having a hard time hearing her say that. Was I the only one that felt that way?
Oh no.
Yeah,
No.
you could tell that he has feelings for her, and I think that by her saying you'll eventually find somebody, he's hoping that it's her.
Yeah, right. Like that's what I meant. That like the fact that she was saying like you'll eventually find somebody, like almost kind of sounded like she was basically saying like it's not going to be me. And that was you could sort of see that was kind of painful for him.
But I think
Very
he
much
was
so.
hearing it as, or he was seeing it as, why would I need to find somebody? You're there, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. All good stuff. All right. I will be back on Friday. We're going to the mountains.
And I will be in Florida.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
Have a great trip.
So we're reconvening on Friday.
So yeah, so tomorrow we don't have an episode. Wednesday we do not have an episode. Thursday we don't have an episode, and then we're back on Friday, and then the weekend's gonna be a marathon. We're gonna be doing two.
I thought that was next week. Or am I?
we
Oh,
have
no,
mountains.
it's this weekend.
No, it's
No, this weekend. This weekend's
Yeah.
gonna be intense. In fact,
You might catch me from the hair salon then.
So
John, we have mountains.
Mammoth?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, mountains. On Saturday, we're gonna start at 8, and then we're gonna do 8 to 8:45 for the first episode. We're not gonna do a post show for that. We're gonna go right into the next episode, and then we're gonna do a 45-minute post show on that one. And I actually have to leave immediately after, like right at the 10:30 mark, because I have to drive an hour to an event. So I have to go like almost immediately. So in fact, if you start to see me going over, somebody please remind me, because otherwise I will be late.
We have 2 in the morning, and then Saturday night.
And then Saturday night we'll have another one at 7, and then on Sunday we'll do the same, 8:45, and then a post show. And that post show could probably extend a little bit longer if we have to, and then we'll have another on Sunday night. That will be the end of the season, and we will begin our hiatus week next week. And I encourage any of you to come up with some events that you want to host next week. I mentioned that that I reached out to Regina, and just to give you context on that, Regina actually sent me a message with the link to that unaired pilot. That's the reason why I reached back out to her and was like, hey, why don't you host this unaired pilot rather than I host it? And so she's going to do that. We're just trying to figure out what the best way to view that for everybody in the group to view that. But
I feel like between now and the end of the season, battling for spots on the couch is going to be a bloodbath.
For new people in the audience, he's giving Pacific Standard Time for the episode times, just in case. For people.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'll
Anybody
post
who's
it. I'll post
yeah,
it on Twitter.
Anybody's there, but also if you
Not everybody knows your Twitter.
If you're signed up for signed up in the Remarcus app, you can change your time code, and then all of the times on our calendar in the app will be reflective of your time zone. Otherwise, it'll say Pacific time, so you just have to do that math in your head. but yeah, I mean, schedule events. That hiatus week, I'm hoping that it's going to be, that we're going to have it full of events. They just won't all be hosted by me, and I'll be coming to all of your events versus you coming to mine. And then we'll do that happy hour on Friday, and hopefully I'll have my badges mechanics finished, which is really exciting.
What's the happy hour? I looked at it, but I'm not really sure what it includes.
It's just going to be us hanging out. We're just all going to have we're going to have drinks like that. We're going to all take pictures of and just chat. It's just a gab session that Friday.
John's going to tell us how much he remembers of season 1 and 2.
Yeah, we're going to just talk. We're going to just talk about whatever, and just hang out for.
Okay. John, are you going to try to do the first couple of episodes again because you didn't record them?
Maybe.
Sean?
Maybe. If somebody wants to host that, let me know.
Okay. We have to let Sean go, or Babsy's gonna get mad at all of us.
You recorded this one, right?
I recorded it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have to get better at ending closer to 8:30 because we really don't have a lot of time before we end up going to sleep, and we like to watch something together before the end of the night.
All right.
But thank you, everybody. Leaving the room open, as always, everybody's moderator. So please feel free to stick around. And at this point, you can start talking about stuff that is totally spoilery. And all of you out on the bean bags who have not watched, that's probably your cue to leave as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining me again.
Thanks.